Whether we like it or not, we have company for almost every waking moment. I don't mean the people out there, but the voice in here. The endless background whisper has an opinion on everything. It's an inner cycle of unrest. It's set on a constant spin. You know it's not what you need. So stay with me for a solid plan to crush those pesky internal voices and to be a better friend to yourself. I'm Dominic Decker, a registered therapist, and your support for the calm and confident future you want. Well, let's look at the science and craft behind clear and calm thinking. When stress dominates, rational thinking is restricted because the emotional brain, called the amygdala, hijacks control of decision making. Here, the shades of colour and nuance that provide context in situations are often sidelined for limited black and white do-or-die thinking. The result is a reduced ability to make calm and objective decisions. Now, in panicky situations, the ultimate black and white thought is, of course, shall I fight or run away? Thinking is reduced to survival decisions. And while drastic, people do run away from situations that others may find uncomfortable yet manageable. Fleeing from an exam hall, or the dentist, or escaping intense social gatherings. While those are striking examples of black and white responses to stress, many less obvious types of black and white thinking feed background worry. Would you recognise when emotional thinking crowds out your better judgment? For many, black and white self-talk becomes so dialed in that they barely know it's there. Yet the indicators are clear. See if you recognise any. For instance, you tend to think in always and never terms. Things are either good, bad, right or wrong. You reach between extremes and grasp at polar opposites to help make sense of situations. You might imagine that you know what others are thinking, mind reading, or grasp at predictions of what's going to happen without knowing, fortune telling. And while these habits are often the product of emotional distress, they lead us to unhelpful responses, furthering emotional upset. It's like an accelerating hamster digging on the spot. In contrast, think for a moment when you feel calm and relaxed, perhaps post-exercise or after a soul-feeding chat with a friend. What are you like then? You're likely kinder and more generous in your reading of life. Your explanations for daily events embrace a lighter touch. When you're relaxed, someone grappling loudly with an apple or a bag of crisps may even be amusing. Okay, maybe not. The point is, though, is that you can choose to own your responses to events. Healthier reactions feel aligned with your happier self. Yet when stress and destructive thinking habits and worry reign supreme, all the subtle shades and nuances that provide big picture context get sidelined for blunt explanations. This is black and white thinking. Here are some examples. All-encompassing, making sweeping assumptions here. If something can go wrong, you can guarantee it will. Only an idiot would think like that. Then there's self-focusing, believing that there's personal significance behind random events. These stupid traffic lights want me to get into trouble at work. Look at that annoying grin, blazing through life and straight into my lane. Jumping to conclusions, reaching a judgment on the basis of one or often more insignificant facts or events. My wife's late from work. She's having an affair. Anxiety runs in my family. Of course, I'll always suffer from it. Blaming. Here we are looking for someone or something to carry the can, often ourselves, when things go wrong. It's all my fault that nobody had a good evening. I should have just stayed home. No wonder everything's going wrong in the world. It all comes down to social media. Exaggerating feelings or emotional reasoning. We interpret sensations and emotions as far more damaging in meaning than they are. I only get this feeling when something terrible has happened. Anxiety making the heart pump a bit? Call an ambulance, it's a heart attack, definitely. Then there's taking a position. This is being unwilling to accept another viewpoint or potential for compromise. You should never aim to please other people. You should always aim to please other people. If you can't do it perfectly, you shouldn't do it. Catastrophizing, assuming that the outcome of an event will be disastrous. If I don't get this job, my career is over. If I'm late for the meeting, I'm going to die. Having to be perfect, imposing impossible or limiting expectations on yourself. I only got 9 out of 10. How could I be so stupid to make a mistake? If I don't lose weight in time for the holiday, I'll look disgusting. Obfuscating. This is reaching for elaborate mental explanations for events that are more simply explained. I failed because I was afraid of success. Really? She hasn't answered my message because she likes it when I'm right on edge. Okay. Then there's putting oneself down. Here you're belittling and minimising self-care and respect. Who'd ever want someone with a face like this? I only won because nobody else was trying. Are any bells ringing? These filters operate a powerful influence on your outlook, and it's not good. So learning to recognise your thinking habits will help you regain critical mental choices. I'm about to share my personal 5-step plan here, which you can also find in my anxiety toolkit. Now, the toolkit has, in my opinion, lots of valuable support for you. So after this video, make sure you check it out. Link in the description. So the 5-step plan for clear and calm thinking. Step 1, claim your thoughts. As a first step, the aim is to notice and name your assumptions when they arise. Becoming familiar with when and how they appear is your first point of progress. The next step is to call the thought out, to recognise how black and white thinking hinders your outlook. Opposite assumptions that polarise your thinking, always and never, good and bad, are often helpful indications of splits that rush you to claim, guess and judge without enough information. Then, step number 3 is to check your why. Now this appears counterintuitive, but consider it like this. Let's say you're someone who, when the going gets tough, you literally get going. Then black and white thinking carry a host of benefits for you. So when you say something will never work out, you have an excuse not to try or a reason to avoid the discomfort inherent when you put yourself out there. Easy Street is paved with assumptions to bypass the fear of rejection or failure. And once you understand the whys that fuel your conclusions, you can move to step 4, challenge the thought. And this is standing your assumptions in the dock to test how accurate and helpful they are. You know yourself well, so this calls for some critical reflection. Suppose you decide that the thought isn't constructive, so you decide to select an alternative view of what's in front of you. For example, you make a joke with an acquaintance, but they didn't laugh or even smile. The black and white thought might be that you aren't funny and you made yourself an utter fool, or you offended him and now he thinks you're stupid. Now, while that might be true, it probably isn't. So some alternative reasons for their lack of laughter. Or maybe he's nervous or shy, or didn't know how to respond, or he didn't hear you, or he's preoccupied or distracted by something, or maybe he's ill, or he's just a reserved and serious person. Replacement explanations widen your perception to highlight a broader perspective so you can move to step 5, choose your response. This is your chance to upgrade. So you might ask, what would a healthy and confident thought entail? You can decide for a constructive reaction and then resolve to install this new perspective for yourself. Okay, look, let's apply this 5-step theory to practice in the context of a job you could apply for. So, a role opens up at college, at work, wherever you are. Your reflex response may be, they'd never want me and other people are always better. And then you remember your 5-point plan. So step 1, you claim your response. Recognise that you put yourself down when opportunities arise. Next, in step 2, you decide to call it out. Here, you notice your polarising language. Nobody would want me to apply. There are always better people, etc. Taking a step back, you realise that this isn't quite right. In fact, there aren't way more people who are better, and even so, it's still worthwhile to have a go. So, you move to step 3 and check the benefits that keep you hooked on limiting beliefs. Maybe negative speculation prevents you from facing the efforts of making an application and facing potential rejection. Perhaps you say it's not worth your time, but it's more about a lack of faith in your ability. Checking your rewards takes practice and may be uncomfortable. You might have to face some fear, yet you'll be ready to confront your views when you take this approach. So now, step 4, challenge the thinking. Taking up the task, you remind yourself of your skills and potential. Also, a new role could be exciting and you may even enjoy it. And anyway, you've got a couple of kind and reliable people around you who will be there to listen if it all goes sideways. Hence, nothing is the end of the world. This brings you to step 5, choosing a new story. An updated and more helpful way of thinking about the opportunity. And here are 3 quick questions picked up from the excellent Therapy in a Nutshell YouTube channel. Shout out to Emma McAdam. You can ask yourself to help uncover a more enabling set of ideas. Is my story truthful? Is my story kind? And does my account give me the power to act? We've decided to say the role is a good opportunity. Now, while you're hesitant to put yourself out there, you're generally capable when trying new things, and you care enough to try and do a good job too. So, you've acknowledged your fear, yet weighed this against potential positives. Now, you have a balanced and truthful story. So is your story kind? Well, this will be the case when you choose to acknowledge yourself with a touch of self-care. And in our example, you do now recognise that you are capable and can do things well when you give them your focus. And lastly, you want the new story to give you the power to act. And in light of your well-rounded appraisal of the situation, you can trust that your decision-making is balanced and informed. So now you've got a truthful, kind story that gives you the power to act. It will also do wonders for your peace of mind. Doesn't that look and feel so much better? It's a part of being your own best friend. See you soon.